Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over on Anime King and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly, your ears are not playing tricks on you. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click those red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Mikoto and Sasuke came in, Mikoto looked quite resigned through everything, knowing that she was the last member along with her 2 sons left of the clan. And one of her sons was a S-rank missing in, as she apologized for all the trouble that the Uchihas had caused Naruto. But Sasuke interrupted, as Naruto spoke to the boy as he told him that perhaps if he gets strong enough, the both of them can bring Itachi back together. As a determined look came into Sasuke's eyes. After that they said their goodbye and the both of them left. As Haruka had brought the entire class, because all of them wanted to see how Naruto was doing, as the news had spread quickly that he was now awake. So Haruka brought every single one. Yes, presents and questions. After that, Naruto escaped out of the hospital, as he hadn't got the discharge yet, but he escaped. As he made his way to Ichiraku Ramen, his uncle was there. The both of them sat down and started to think about a name for the baby. As Uncle was feeling so much dread, she was gonna tell Naruto everything, as she was ready to speak Danzo arrive. The man just seemed to pop out of nowhere, as it was a subtle threat, a warning, that she must keep her mouth shut. And that is what Uncle did. After the man left, Tsunade and Shizune arrived, as Uncle and Naruto had left and not telling anyone where they were going. But Naruto brought out the mist and they vanished. 2 weeks passed as it was time for the wedding between them. Things was going wonderful, except Naruto saw the look on Uncle's face, as he realized perhaps she didn't want this, perhaps she wanted time to think about this. So Naruto was about to say no to the engagement when he said yes. Confused why he did, he didn't even pay attention to that, as both him and Uncle got married, as they live in one of the vineyards in the Senju compound, the nice cottage over to the side where it was far from the main house. As Naruto spoke to the fox, as she was finally awoken, as she told him that his mind was being controlled, especially when he was about to say no to that question if he wanted to get married with Uncle, as Naruto realized that he wanted to say no to give Uncle time to think about it. But someone used a genjutsu on him, as Naruto started to think, as he thought that he was Itachi, coming back to just get revenge, because Itachi was so angry that both him and Uncle got together. Now knowing that the both of them got married, it must be weighing on him. And he could sneak into Konoha, yes he could. So Naruto really thought that it was Itachi, as he had no other clue who else it would be. As Kurama told him that it happened once before, as Naruto was surprised by that. But she fell asleep once again, saying that she was tired. The next morning, his uncle woke up to the smell of cooking, as she made her way downstairs, seeing Naruto had cooked for her. As Uncle felt miserable, she felt terrible with herself, knowing that she had used trickery to get him into this. If he ever find out, he would be angry. But yet he was so nice to her, he was so forgiving for everything. But she used him. It was a mission. She was supposed to do this by any means necessary. Keep him, and keep him loyal to Konoha. That was her mission from the Hokage. And she felt so much dread, she started to cry, as Naruto held on to her. Yet again he was here being nice, when he should be cursing and yelling at her, but no, he was nice. Incredibly nice as well. So she felt torn and terrible with herself. She felt disgusted with herself. But there wasn't really anything that she could do. and she just had to play the act. She couldn't tell him, she couldn't break his heart like that. So yeah guys, that was basically last one left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. We begin this episode 2 years after the wedding. 2 years has passed since. I will take this mission, and with that, I should be finished with the Jonin examinations. If any other Chunin had came by and spoken like that, they would have been put down a couple of pegs and forced to do guard duty. However, this was not any normal man. It was none other than Naruto Senju, 16 years old, known as the Ghost Lance of Konoha, or the second coming of the second Hokage, or the Frozen Wave. The last nickname had been a recent addition. In a A-rank mission, he was tasked to free a group of Genins that were being held by two A-rank missing names. The missing names had died, but the Genins had spoke about his skills that he used in the battle. Uncle had yelled at him for the following 3 days, given the fact that his bingo book bounty was now 12 million Ryu. But Asuma Saratobi bounty was 35 million Ryu, and yet he was perfectly fine, so Nerd did not see anything wrong. But Uncle did. Now for the Jonin exam, you had to at least complete one S-rank mission solo to get the title full-fledged. S-rank mission: aid the rebel forces to reclaim the Land of Moon, assassination of Riga Kurosaki, envoy level missing name of Karin with his brigand gang Ishide, Karabana, and Kongo, also known as the three wandering ninjas, and also Kajika, known as the water shark of Karin, and remove Shibata from the Land of Moon, which he has achieved through the death of Keigo Tsuki, the previous ruler of the Land of Moon. And you are to free the remaining alive heir of the throne and his son. Your mission is to aid the loyal forces of Geshika Corps and eliminate all resistant forces and restore the rightful heir to the throne and make sure his loyalty turned towards Konoha best interests. The Land of Moon holds many casinos and banks, and its wealth will bring many prosperity to our village. Is the mission clear? Minato asks. As Naruto nodded as he was in his blue metal plate armor, his face was serious and stern, as his face resembled the picture on the wall to the side of the Hokage, as he looked just like the second Hokage. The forehead protector had been a change, as he wore his own personal one that resembled towards the second, but the fur around his neck was not white like the second. It was a dark view. The armor was finally reaching the same size as the original, and would soon no longer need any adjustments, as the blade was at his side, the Raging King, and he was wearing dark shades, so you could not see his eyes. The only reason why Naruto Senju wasn't a Jonin was simple. He didn't want to get appointed, as he wanted to get there by his skills. As when you get appointed by the Hokage, you had to swear an oath in front of the Hokage. But when you pass the Jonin exam because of your skills, you receive a formal letter with the rules to follow. It was an enormous difference for Naruto. Well, at least in his eyes. You may go at your leisure, said Minato. As Naruto left the room without even a single word, his cold, stern attitude went the entire way. People stiffened at the cold presence as he made his way. Once outside though, he cracked a smile, as he waved occasionally at the passerbys that waved towards him and asked him how his day was. 2 apples, my son, said Naruto, as he reached a stall vendor, a woman in her 50s. She held out her hand. Come on, Senju-san, hand over the fruit list, she said, as Naruto simply chuckled. I can lie straight to the face of an S-rank missing nin, but I can't fake it to buy 2 apples, said Naruto. You can't fool experience, boy, she said, with a smile as Naruto gave her the list, as she started to pack the things. He stood there, before he simply ducked out of the way, as he grabbed both boys by the shirt that tried to attack him. As I've been trying to tell you since 1 year, said Naruto, you two need to stop flinging kunais in the market, as he had already sidestepped the kunais that they threw at his feet, so that he would jump up so that he could catch him in the ear, but they never expect him to just sidestep it. Well, given that he did this so many times before, they should expect it, but they thought they would catch him off guard somehow. As Naruto had to dismiss the guard that came over to check, he must be a rookie, because almost everyone knew that Naruto was always getting attacked by the Uchiha and the Hyuga for training. I told you, Uchiha, we should have dropped from above, said Neji. And I told you, Hyuga, we should have gone from below, Sasuke said, scowling. And I will tell you for the 15th time already, neither would have worked, said Naruto, as he looked towards Neji. Examination coming soon, he said. Yes, Sensei, I'll do my best to pass it, as Neji nodded with a small smile. As Naruto smiled at that, good. So you'll be able to take care of Yumi-chan for me. Prepare yourself for Babysitting missions are a lot of fun. As Naruto grin turned into a chuckle, as Ninja scowl, Sasuke sported a smirk. Sasuke said, "You'll be doing babysitting, and I'll be doing..." As Naruto coughed. "Babysitting too," he said, interrupting Sasuke. "She will be 3 by the time you graduate." "Oh yes," said Naruto, as Sasuke started to scowl as well. "Anyway, I won't be in the village for the following months. So I'm sorry, Ninja, I probably won't see you graduate," he said. "It's not a problem, Sensei. As long as your wife don't show up with a pink dress for me." Long hair has nothing to do with gender. As both Sasuke and Naruto chuckled at that. "It happened only once," he said. "Well, seeing something once, you can burn it to memory," said Mai, as she gave Naruto the fruits. "One day it will happen to you, Uchiha, and I will laugh," said Neji. "That will never happen," said Sasuke, as he rushed off in the opposite direction. "Kids these days," said Naruto with a sigh, as he paid Mai for the fruits. He hadn't expected Sasuke, of all people, to befriend Neji. Although the two were rivals, well, so they claim, they had a lot in common, and not just in the dojutsu department. Both of them had high hopes set on them. Sasuke was the last Uchiha that remained in Konoha, and Neji was a prodigy of the branch family. Both had lost someone dear to them, and both wanted, although it was deeply covering their souls, revenge. As Naruto made his way home, as a smell hit Naruto's nose. It was wonderful. Many kunoichis were stacked up as a diet ramen that Ayam had brought back from her cooking trip. It was, well, amazing, and the girls loved it. Ayam was a problem that Naruto could not tackle. So with a sigh, a heavy sigh, he just kept on going. As Naruto arrived to the Senju compound main house, as she was there, Yumi Senju, daughter of Naruto Senju and Uncle Senju, 2 years old, was currently watching the grocery bags that her father had brought in. The toddler had purple hair like her mother, as she had a round cute face and brown eyes, dark brown. Uncle had told him that that was the same eyes of her father, the very same. As Naruto simply shrugged, she had his nose, so she was clearly his. She was wearing a tiger pajama. As whether she liked it or not, it was the best thing for her, because it was the best way to catch her when she started fleeing. She didn't realize that the costume had a fault, that you could simply grab the tail so she couldn't run away. But she seemed to love it same way. "Apple," she said. She raised her hands upwards, her tiny fingers wiggling. "No hug," said Naruto, as Yumi came over. As Naruto picked her up, as she hugged her father. As she giggled. "Good," she said. "Apple now." Fine, said Naruto. A kiss on the forehead and a peel apple. They start to move back to the house. As Naruto wondered, was he forgetting something? Did I warn Shizune that I took her back? Should realize soon enough, said Naruto, as he put Yumi in her playpen. As he prepared dinner, he had to go all out, especially on the dango dessert. It was the only way to avoid Uncle's wrath when she came home later from her TNI shift and discovered that he had to go on an S-rank mission. Well, would actually wasn't the correct term. The reason why he chose the mission anyway was because of the leader, Riga. With his Raijin blade and Riga with his lightning Kiba blades, he was the only one that can go head to head with him. And not to mention he was going to free our country as well. As Naruto started to cut the radish, he started to chop up everything as he felt a tug on his leg. As he looked, once again she had managed to climb out. Apple, you already ate one, Yumi-chan, said Naruto. But there's apple pie. If you'll be good until dinner, understood? As she smiled up at him. Yes, she said. She couldn't really speak properly, but her words were funny to hear, and not to mention she was just so darn cute. As she sat right down there. Park tomorrow, she said. I can't, Yumi-chan. Mission, he said. No, she said. As she started to whine, he had no idea why they hated him going on mission. On one side, Yumi ate an unhealthy amount of apples, and she also loved dango. That side seemed to come from Uncle, and in secret, Uncle also sipped sake as well, and enjoyed her dangos as well. But whenever he went on mission, well, they always frowned as he wanted him to stay. He did obviously know that they just loved him as he loved them, but still hypocrites, but in a cute way. Don't go, she said as she tugged onto his leg tight. As she started to pout, Yumi-chan, you know it's work, he said. Well, potentially lethal work, but still it was work. S-rank mission with 1 million Ryu at the end of it. Who would refuse? And not to mention he was a S-rank shinobi. S-rank. It was perfectly safe. Mom cries. So no, said Yumi. As Naruto picked her up, pulling her off his leg and hugged her. Yumi-chan, I always come back, right? She poked as she turned her head. But Mom what? Uncle said, entering the room. As she narrowed her eyes, as she looked towards him with a suspicious gaze, as he gave her one of those looks. So, it's another mission for Mr. I will always be there for you, right? Uncle said. As Naruto sighed, she will always bring that up. Flashback. The mood swings with Uncle became, well, like a double personality with a crazy side. As it happened in the morning, 3 in the morning, her water broke as the bags under his eyes show how exhausted he was. Yet he was swift, incredibly so. 5 minutes later, Uncle was in the hospital with his mother already there. Come and be damned, Naruto, I'll kill you when this is over, said Uncle. She screamed. As that makes Natty start to curse as well. As Uncle started to curse as well, this situation, everyone started to curse each other. Would you two stop cursing before I freeze you both? The both of them paused. They looked towards Naruto. After all, the grey-haired boy always kept calm. He never raised his voice. You push and you do your job, he said. The only scream I should hear is my child cry. 3 hours later, Uncle was biting her lip. Just how long will it take? Just push with you. I'm pushing already. Then don't stop. As Naruto sighs, you wonder why he didn't stay outside. Staying here with the two women that just kept on yelling at each other. Look at me, said Naruto as he looked towards Uncle, as he wiped her brow. Look at me, he said, as she turned and faced him fully. Everything is gonna be fine, okay? But he won't come out, she said. He or she will come and don't worry. We will meet him or her together, said Naruto, and grow them together. And I'll always be there for you no matter what. So you push, and I'll go and grab 5 dango boxes. Even 6 if you want afterwards. As Uncle nodded that, make that 10. I'm sugar deprived, since that bitch of a mother that you have refused to make me have much. I heard that, said Snatty. Uncle was looked at it was her granddaughter that was gonna be birthed. Otherwise, she would have dropped the kunoichi towards Shizune. Good. It means that you're not old enough to be deaf. You're just old enough to be senile. Sugar is necessary for my metabolism, you old hag. This time Naruto let them curse as he simply rolled his eyes. Finally, after another hour, the loud cry echoing the room. It's a girl, said Snatty, as she looked at the baby. I'll have her washed up and prepared. And while I'm at it, Mom, said Naruto, would you mind we look at her first? Snatty chuckled a bit. I know. I was just teasing you too, she said. The bundle of white towels was gently lowered into Naruto's hand. There, with a reddish face, was a crying baby, who after a moment quieted herself. Hey there. Seems like you got the loud voice of your mother, said Naruto. I'm not loud, Uncle muttered, sounding quite weak, and I like a view as well. Should mothers get first view and see the baby? Moments later, the towel bundle was given to Uncle. Well, Uncle said with a smile. As we decided, her name will be Uncle too. The Revenge of the Dango. Good name, right? We decided on Yumi. No movie-like name, said Naruto as he rolled his eyes. No, you're really a party pooper, you know that, right? Well, what are you doing here? Go get me my dango, she said. You're a cruel, cruel woman, said Snatty. Not my fault. He was the one that made a promise, Uncle said, as she looked towards her baby girl. In the flashback, yes, some missing in I already fought before. No, it's an assassination mission, said Naruto, as Yumi rushed over to her mother and hugged her leg. As the both of them started to frown. Rank of the mission, said Uncle as she sat down at the table, placing Yumi in her baby seat. I made dango with minarashi sauces, the ones you like so much since they take after your name, you know, said Naruto. Why aren't you answering my question, Uncle said. Please don't tell me that you took a S rank. Please don't tell me that you took a S rank, she said once again. Uncle, yes, it's a S rank, but I already fought this missing in before. I know all of his tricks, I'll defeat him. And that would warrant the S rank? Out with it, all of it, she said. Naruto sighed. Well, he does have a bang of brigands I have to kill too. And he's in a faraway country. And I have to rescue the real royal of the throne and place them back on their seat. Damn it, Uncle said. Can't you just swallow your pride and do the old thing? Instead of going to a dangerous S-rank mission in a faraway country. It's a principle, said Naruto. As Uncle sighed, she moved closer to him. Promise me that you'll be back, she said. You know I'm the most resilient, right? Said Naruto, as he smiled, as she looked towards him. As Naruto was a Senju clan head, well, given from a couple months ago, but still he was Senju clan head, and he has gotten so much more stronger. As Uncle just gave him a smile. Perhaps she should stop worrying, but she just didn't have it in her to not worry about him. As they all sit down at the table, as Yumi looked towards her father. As she saw her mother smile, she smiled back. Time skip. The land of Moon, nearing the island. The boat was rocking back and front as the waves were a bit heavy. The night sky was cloudy as Naruto's eyes scanned the area in front of him. To his side in the boat was the assaulting troop, the men that were still loyal to the previous leader. When the assault happened, they were out of the village. When they heard, they made their way to rally all their men. They would be the distraction, the one who will grant him the ability to sneak in unnoticed. Just as a signal, as there was other boats in the water, went up, Naruto took the charge as he dived right into the water. As Naruto used his chakra to high-speed it towards the village, he avoided all the fortification and all the guards as he entered the forest area. As Naruto activated his camouflage technique, as he faced out of existence, as he simply blended right in the background, as he made his way towards the castle. A small jet of water on his finger transformed into ice. It was a small ice crystal that he fired as it pierced right through the neck of an enemy shinobi that was on patrol, as the man dropped dead. As he took the man's clothing and stripped it off, as he placed the man's clothing onto himself. With that, he made a mad dash straight towards the center, running towards the castle. The enemy is attacking, he yelled. He alerted more and more patrols, and at the same time, they were giving him passes straight towards where the head problem was. It was funny, no one questioned a scout who was yelling emergency through yells. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no one stopped him as he made his way. As Naruto heard water style, he rolled to the side as the ground in front of him was destroyed by a water blast. He turned towards the enemy who was wearing a grey shark top that was complete with a hoodie that resembled a shark head when it was closed down, and dark pants. He also had 2 markings under his eyes that resembled a dolphin tail. He had green eyes and dark brown hair. Not a step closer without identifying yourself, as the shinobi Kajika had expected the scout to die from his attack, not dodge it. Alright, the scout said, as he went quiet and calm. What game are you playing? Identify yourself, Kajika said, as a sword burst through his back. But the man turned into water. Naruto cursed under his breath where the man's body was. As no attack came, that meant he was being waited. So he simply stepped back into the shadows as he merged with his surroundings. There was no need to enter a palace when they know that you were coming. You will have to go help the assaulting shinobis that were taken back over the land of Moon. At least that was the idea when he looked down. As he saw the land of Moon being set on fire, explosions rained everywhere as screams of chaos and malice could be heard. As Naruto's emotions were literally cut off at this moment as he watched the chaos and death around him, as it was a part of Shinobi world, and Naruto had learned a long time ago how to shut off his emotions while on a mission. Of course, there were things that he dreaded, but on his mission, he knew that anything was necessary and anything goes. As Naruto landed on a nearby rooftop before slitting the throat of a scout, as he kept on jumping. When they take pictures of heroes, when they spoke about legends in the past, they never spoke about how they felt in the heat of a battle. Do they think Hashirama fought while keeping a smile and laugh on his face? Tobirama was the exact opposite as well. You will never see that man laughing on the battlefield. The point was not to think about it as a kid. Nearly genuine age was exploded by an explosive tag. He did not stop and try to avenge him. It wasn't his job. As Naruto landed down, his feet touched ground softly near to the academy. As he saw statues of Ketchikakor past ninjas, he looked around as a massive fist was coming towards his head to literally take it off with one shot. A hulking man with small, beady eyes and a large nose. Man had a white vest over a green shirt. No forehead protector. As Naruto moved his head just in time, the fist passed his face in a blur as petals started raining down from the sky. What appeared like a white-haired child that emerged right beside the brute, emerging from the petals, tried to attack him. As Naruto moved and twisted out of the way, dodging all the kunais that came towards him. As a pulse of chocolate and genjutsu vanished. As a hand tried to grab him from the back, Naruto twists before spinning as he launched a powerful kick, launching the person backwards. The man skidded back as he looked towards Naruto. He had spiky hair, no headband, no village symbols, blue eyes. He had a strange gauntlet on his arm that had a strange eye on it. As Naruto brought out his blade and twirled it before he stabbed it into the ground, nothing happened. A couple seconds later, explosions as the ground exploded outwards, forcing the enemy shinobi to launch themselves backward as blades of lightning erupted from the earth itself. As it was not slowing down, it went after them. As they kept on dodging, they went behind the large rocks and the stone and the statues, but the lightning blades just ripped right through them. As Naruto turned, as something bounced right off his armor, it was a kunai. He should have dodged that. As Naruto looked around, poison. You use poison. The child with white hair spoke in a feminine tone. The Moshinoken, poison. A odorless one. That slow your reaction time. Do you like it? She said, as she rushed towards Naruto. Naruto flashed two one-handed seals as he released a massive amount of water out of his mouth that surrounded his body. The lightning flowed into the water and created a lightning, electrified storm. As Naruto threw it outwards, the ninjas leaped away. The hulking brute got electrocuted. As Naruto turned his head towards the child, her body was turned to stone and she was broken. The enemy looked towards Naruto. I threw her in the air and substituted with her. They would have done the same in my position, the man said. As Naruto wondered how did she turn to stone. As he looked towards the gauntlet, there was something freaky about that. As the man pulled a kunai and launched it towards Naruto. As Naruto blocked it and threw his right blade up in the air. The man didn't waste any time as he shot forward as he slammed his hand right on Naruto's armor. I won, he said, as the eye on the back of the gauntlet opened wide. But nothing happened. What's going on? Why aren't you turning to stone? The man asked. As suddenly, the eye cracked and exploded as the gauntlet broke. As Naruto smirked as the right blade fall. As Naruto grabbed onto the man's hand. As the electric blade sliced right through the man, splitting him in half as Naruto grabbed the blade. I suppose these three weren't wandering ninjas, said Naruto. As he simply turned his head. Moments later, all of the enemies came back. As he looked for the three guards, the top guards, that gave them orders. They came into the classrooms in the academy, but there was no one there. One of them then came to the back of the academy as they saw the bodies. But it was too late as the explosive tags lit up. Explosions swallowed the entire academy, blowing the entire place to smithereens, massacring the enemy shinobis. As Naruto was off in a tree top a distance away. I prefer Yumi's mud cooking, he said, as he opened the ration bar and bit down on it. As Naruto quickly made his way into the humid forest. As he was jumping, he heard a roar as a tiger was coming towards him. The tiger itself wasn't surprising. The fact that there was a monkey on the back of it, with a boy with brown hair and black eyes. He also had a quiver of arrows over his back. His clothes, blue and white, were in tatters from overuse, or probably because he hasn't changed them in a long time. The tiger jumped and tear right through Naruto, but Naruto's body liquefied as the boy, the monkey and tiger looked around. You don't look like shinobi, said Naruto, as he was looking at them from upside down, as he was on a tree branch. The boy fired an arrow towards Naruto, who caught it out of mid-air. As he looked towards the arrow. Who are you? Said Naruto as they didn't look like shinobis. I'm Hiro Suki, rebel of Suki no Kuni, and I'm not going to go down without a fight. As the boy fired another arrow this time, it had an explosive tag as Naruto ripped the tag off it before it could explode. As he held it in his palm, when he opened back his palm, dust came out. Naruto vanished as he appeared on the ground. Look closely at my forehead protector, he said. The tiger growled, but he did not attack. The boy narrowed his eyes. Konoha symbol? Then you accepted my mission, he said, as he patted the saber-toothed tiger. It's alright, Shemu, he said. He's a friend. He's here to save the island. The monkey, on the other hand, pointed a menacing finger towards Naruto before jumping in the boy's back. You're the son of Mikuru, said Naruto. Where's your father, and how did you escape? The boy's face turned incredibly sad at that question. My dad is dead, he said. Shibidaba wanted to execute us, but during the execution, I managed to be freed by some of the guards, loyal to my father. But he could not make it through the escape tunnel because he was too fat and slow, and as the boy started to cry, he told me to go on and live and get help, and it's alright, said Naruto. Who put up the mission though? In the details, you were still captured. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, he moved forward his tiger roar, but Naruto ignored and grabbed the boy as he looked at his neck. Damn it. You got a tracking seal on you. Rikyu! A thundering ball of lightning came rushing towards the group. Kazeno Yaiba, said Naruto, as he released a massive wind blade that sliced the ball of thunder. As it discharged, as Naruto stood there, the wind blowing back his hair. It's you. I recognize that voice, that whimpering voice. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, the man that was speaking resembled Rika. His hair was white, and while one of his eyes looked the same, the other looked like it was paced by two eyes and just smashed together in a bundle. Renmaru, do you see him? It's him, the Ghostlands, the demon that took you away. But now I see him, and I will take him down. We are ready. All of us. As the kiba blades in my hand crack with lightning. As thugs appear all around with all different weapons. Kajika was amongst them as well, with a feral grin on his face. How did they manage to fool my sensory ability? Wait, as Naruto could not use it, there was something that was fooling his senses. But if his senses were full, how did they track down Hikaru? Even the chakra tracking seal would have been problematic at that. I see that you don't see, said Reiga. Well, before I kill you, let me tell you what happened. Once I escape from you, and anyone that interrupt me will die. As he began his tale, I traveled a bit around in some of my men, those who had survived. But I was always afraid that you would come and finish the job. You Shinigami, you murderer. If something like that was said from a man that buried people, after torturing them, it didn't seem really bad. Even my hair turned white with the stress of always turning around, always watching my back. I was afraid. Then all I realized is what I needed was more eyes. So that is what I did. I killed a couple of my men, and I plastered their eyes in the back of my head. But it did not work. I could not see through them. Like I said, that some of the men winced. Probably they were present. Probably they were there. So what could I do? I realized I needed Ranmaru. He was always a smart one of us, but he was no longer here. He no longer spoke to me until I saw his eyes. Even in death, his eyes. They were still there. I don't know how, but I grabbed them. They called out to me, and I took them. And now I can see. As Naruto blue eyes narrowed behind the shades, I saw your face, but it took me a while. Then I saw. Your hair, it was dyed, but it was you. My eyes, Ranmaru eyes could not be fooled. So I planned. Ranmaru was the one that suggested it. Of course, I took a country. We asked for help. With my name, I know that you'll be coming for me. So we baited you here so I can finally get rid of you. Kurosaki family, attack. Kid, I'm sorry, said Naruto, but this is gonna hurt. As Naruto fired a water bullet that slammed into the boy's stomach, that sent him sailing straight out of the area. The saber-tooth tiger roared. As it rushed forward, it tore 3 of the enemies to pieces, but it was taken down by a hail of kunas and shurikens. Kill the man, you fools, not the tiger, Reiga shouted. Reiga Tatsumaki says he released a massive lightning dragon that roared from the kiba blades and launched himself at Naruto. Kurosaki Tatsumaki, the thugs yell around him as they release vortex of wind. All of them combined. One of them, it wasn't that strong, but when their attacks were combined, it was quite ferocious. As Kachika was over to the sidelines, intervening only if it was needed. Reiga looked around. Kachika, he's behind you! As Kachika finished his hand sign as he released a massive water dragon, but it froze. It dropped towards the ground and simply cracked. As Kachika felt a hand dropped on his shoulder, a freezing hand that was incredibly cold. The next moment he felt his chakra leaking away from his body. As it felt like his cells, his entire body was being sucked dry. His cells rot, his insides turn to ash as all the chakra leave his body. As Naruto Senju stood there, his blue eyes glowing behind the shades. 2 fox-like claws were hovering at his back, and 2 tails were floating behind him, floating like leaves scattered by the wind. As Naruto brought up the Raijin blade and blocked the Kiba blades. Hey Reiga, he said, what's your worst nightmare? Oh yes, not to see. The 2 claw hands behind Naruto start to go through hand sign like they were a part of him. Well, they were. You know, the technique I'm gonna use on you requires a lot of chakra. A lot, said Naruto. As he spoke with that chakra like he was toying with the envoy level mix and name from Kiri. Yes, Reiga was an envoy level, and yet here Naruto was just toying around. Don't worry if I claim it. The blue tails straightened up like lances, pointed as they pushed themselves through all the ninjas around. As the ninjas dropped one by one as their chakra was leaving their body. As if on cue, they returned back to Naruto. The hands became purple behind Naruto. As Naruto whispered something to Reiga as he activated his jutsu, everything went black. Reiga lost his sanity at that moment, being unable to see. Ranmaru, I'll avenge you, said Reiga as he shot bolt of lightning in the air that created a storm cloud that brought down a massive lightning bolt. If he was gonna die, he was gonna take this demon down with him. Hikaru from his position watched as his ankle was sprained. As he saw the lightning bolt came down and blew everything away. Hikaru heard something as he saw Naruto walking out, not even a single scratch on him. The fox claws and tails disappeared. Are there any other enemy shinobis around here, said Naruto. There's the village. It's been destroyed. I've already been here, said Naruto. Who are you? Said Hikaru, as he had to ask. As this man was the most human out of all of them, and yet he just walked out of that attack. I am the ghost lands of Konoha, the Kyuubi Jinjulki, the second coming of the second Hokage, and the frozen wave, and soon Jonin rank of Konoha, clan head of the Senju clan. I am Naruto Senju, the only wielder of Raijin no Ken. As he paused theatrically, and my nicknames keep on piling up, he said. You're a strange guy, Hikaru said. But he didn't sniff as he turned as he looked for Shenmue's body. But the tiger body seemed to have disappeared. But what the boy did not know was, that is what Naruto used to substitute himself when he had appeared behind Kajika. But how did they track you if my sensory abilities are all in wax, said Naruto. I don't know, Hikaru said. Me, a voice said, a bit far away from their position as Naruto turned. As it was a small girl there, probably 10 or 11. She had bright red hair that was unscathed and was clean, as the rest of her body was covered in blood, grime, bruises. Her clothes was in tattered and stripes. She had red eyes, as she was squinting like she was trying to put things into focus, but it was not working. As she was holding herself against the bark of a tree, she was kept away from the battle so she wasn't hurt. As bite marks covered her arms. As Naruto had his kunai in his hand, she looked towards it. Her eyes were able to make it out. She preferred to die here than going back to that hellscape, as she closed her eyes waiting for the quick death, praying that it would be quick. As Naruto stopped and placed away his kunai, Kyuchan, cut down the power please, said Naruto. I think she needs healing. As a snort could be heard in his mind, someone who was pissed from being awakened, cutting it down. Thanks to the meal, I'm going back to sleep. As Naruto moved forward, both hands open to show that he meant no harm. What's your name? As he got on one knee in front of the girl, she had sign of malnutrition, so she wasn't taller than 9-year-old. Karin, she whispered. Uzumaki Karin. As she was hopeful. Before Reiga had come to her village, killing everyone and taking her alive because her eyes reminded him of someone that he knew. Her mother had told her that the Uzumaki family are cousins of the Senju clan. At least her mother had. She had sensed them. She thought they were just people passing by. If she had told everyone, perhaps she could have saved everyone. But she thought they were just people going by. Her mother also told her to never, ever tell anyone about her sensory ability. It would make people hurt her, harm her. And like a stupid idiot, she had spoken about her blood healing ability when Reiga had said that he would scalp her head off. The next days, the next weeks, the next months, the next years, they had been nothing but nightmares for her. But this person in front of her, his chakra was so kind. Reiga's was spiky, moving up and down, always. This one was calm, as sky blue color, it was peaceful. But she also saw some darker ripple, darker blue. But it didn't matter, it was the best chakra she had seen in years. Uzumaki, you say? As Naruto's hand started to glow green. Let me heal you, said Naruto. As he started to heal the small cuts and lacerations. Your feet are a mess, said Naruto as he picked her up bridal style. We can go now, he said. As Naruto picked up the Kiba blades and placed them on his armor back as he magnetized himself. You know, I feel like a fridge magnet, said Naruto. As Karin chuckled before she quickly covered her mouth, as she looked towards him. Don't worry, you have a nice laughter. I'm just sorry that my armor is cold. But we aren't safe yet. There's probably some bandits still around. It's okay, she said, your chakra is warm enough. As she snuggled up near to his chest guard, and she fell asleep. As she felt safe for once. Hikaru glanced over at Naruto. How are you going to enter the palace like that? Aren't you a bit tired at least? I am kind of like a leash, boy. As long as there is chakra to feed upon, I will never grow tired, actually. I get tired the longer the back drags on. But as soon as it's over, I start to feel better because my chakra is constantly drained and then replenish itself. So you're a fast recharging leech. As Naruto nodded, he just hoped people didn't call him Leech of Konoha. Yeah, he didn't like that one. But what about her? I just killed their leader. And with the Kiba blades on my back, they're gonna cower away. By the way, how good's your aim? Pretty good. Why? The boy asked. When the time comes, you will be delivering the final blow to Shibedaba. It's your duty, as leader of the island, to show your people that you have the strength to retake your island. As Naruto spoke quietly, as Karin was sucking her thumb while she was sleeping. It must have been a baby habit no one broke her out from. Time skip. Shibedaba was having a really bad week. First, the brat had escaped. And then Reiga ran off, saying that he had a demon to kill with a whole bunch of troops. Third, the 3 wandering ninja was no longer sending reports on the shore and how everything's going along. And fourth, Gechikawara looked like it was demolished down to the ground. Fifth, Kumo ninjas had been spotted pushing from behind, no doubt hired by the brat. Sixth, he heard that this second coming of the second Hokage was here. That made his blood run cold. How the hell did Konoha even know? Now he was faced with a remaining man, cower in front of a Kumo ninja. as she had long elongated nails. Her body was covered by a cloak with two tails behind her. A white-haired man with a katana and a red-haired woman with a katana. And a busted blonde. Four had simply marched in and went on a killing spree. And he was trying to flee. Yujito, get the bastard before he escapes, said Samui. Amoy spoke. Maybe he's not a bastard. What if his mother knew his father? So he's Amoy. Shut up! Ani, said Yujito as she moved forward with weapons, simply bouncing off her cloak, or she used her tail to bat them away. As she ripped apart his two bodyguards with ease. Now it's time for you to die, Shibidaba. Your reign of terror will... An arrow pierced right through the man's neck, cutting off her speech. As the body fell down the thud. Yujito narrowed her eyes. That was my spotlight. Damn, who's the genius? Come out. Who shoot that damn arrow, she said. As she looked up, as she saw a silver-haired boy on top of the wall, as he had a boy on his back with the crossbow, and he was holding a girl in his arms. Well done, Hikaru. Bonus points for stealing. Kitty Kitty saying, said Naruto. Kitty Kitty? Who are you, said Yujito. What? Don't recognize me. As Naruto spoke, all of them regroup. You're the ghost lands of Konoha, said Samui. There's a 12 million bounty on you. What can I say? I do a lot of things. But if you know that, you know who I am, right? Come on. Who is... She paused. There was something... You really don't remember me, kitten, said Naruto. Name is Naruto Senju. A pity, he said, with a sad face. Anyway, I'm on an S-rank mission. But I think we're on the same side at the moment, right? Now I remember you. Wait, what? S-rank? Alone? You defeated me once all those years ago. You can't be doing S-rank missions already. Well, we're on a B-rank mission. Our objective was to assassinate Shibidaba, said Samui, interrupting. Which you just took from us, so I suppose the pay will go to you, she added sternly. No, he did the kill, said Naruto. Hikaru, Tasuke, the heir of the island of Land of Moon. So there will be no pain for that one. Mine should be complete when I finish mapping out the stragglers, said Naruto. Well then, we should leave, said Samui. Samui Sensei, said Yujito. We did all this for nothing? Come on. At least fight for some pay. We did all the job, but we did not finish. So let's go. Well, excuse me, Hikaru said. If you're willing to stick around for a while and help Senju-san clean the island of the stragglers, I can pay you for our A-rank mission. I like this kid already, said Amoy. Wait, can he do that, said Samui, as she looked towards Naruto. Well, he does own the island, said Naruto, and the money in it. Samui nodded as she turned and faced Hikaru. You will proceed to eliminate hostiles from the island, she said. There are practically little boats left. Just check those and everything should be fine, said Naruto. Yujito snarled. I want a rematch from last time. Last time you gave me the frights, but this time it will be different. Maybe later. I have to take care of someone, said Naruto, as he placed Karin on his shoulder, securing the girl there. As he moved inside the palace, loads, scream and yell could be heard. Some people even jumped through the window to get to safety, but realized that it was a long drop. They didn't run from us that way, said Amoy. I guess he's stronger. I really hate that man, said Yujito. Let's get going, said Samui. As they moved towards the docks, timeskip Konoha, as Anko placed down her coat on the coat rack. Anko hated her thoughts recently because she was thinking that the seduction mission actually turned to something well. Because the situation was ideal and wonderful for them, but she knew that he will find out someday, and she would probably drink herself under the table and never come back up. She moved to where she left her hidden state compartment. Instead of the 10 bottles, there were only 2 there. Had she already drank that much? It's been a while. And with Yumi over to her grandmother's house, she could drink in peace. The window sealed and poof, there was a something sealed there, so that Naruto could send letters even when he was far away, as there was a chameleon there who was eating some honeybees. As he had a note with him, I'm fine. Prepare the guest room, please. Always to the point, as Uncle forehead twitched. Why couldn't he write something like, I'm heading back, or the mission is over? She gave the bottle of sake to the chameleon. Here, take this and go, she said. The chameleon took it and head off. Time skip. As Uncle went out to get a real drink with Kurenai. As Kurenai wasn't doing much, so she simply dragged her to a bar. So, how's it going, said Uncle with a grin on her face. Sake up in front of her. What, said Kurenai, perplexed. She was just studying a theory in Genjutsu, another one, and her friend came and dragged her out. In the beginning, she expected some explanation from Uncle, but the purple Kunoichi was, well, just having a tough time. She just needed that smoothing down on her motherly skills. But her heart was in the right place, so the occasional drinking wasn't anything bad. You and Asuma, Uncle said with a teasing tone, the beard guy. Reached all places? Uncle, you're a mother for Kami's sake. Act like one. I was forced to wear a one piece dress for 9 months. A kimono for my wedding. But I'm not gonna be one of those mothers who speaks about bruises and shopping and groceries. Because you can't cook, Karin said, as Uncle glared at her. Besides, the cooking is his job. You know, if you keep on piling up responsibilities on him, he's gonna give up on you eventually, you know? Oh, I doubt that, Uncle said. You see, I do this thing with my tongue. Stop, I don't want to know, said Karin. His uncle chuckled that teasing Karin was always fun. Anyway, did he give you any news? As Uncle nodded, with a happy smile on her face, despite the way she acted. Karin knew that in her heart she was a very frail person, and it took a small to break her up. Once Yumi had started sneezing, and yet the TNI made it mean had to be yanked away from a person that he was threatening to heal her baby. He's fine. He said I have to prepare the guest room. Maybe he's gonna arrive at night with someone. Maybe he made one of those stupid promises that he always keep, Uncle said. Maybe they hand him over a child to take care of, said Karin. Maybe it's a protection mission. A pregnant woman. Nah, he would have told me to get a crib in the room. It has to be someone or adult. Maybe a ninja he met on one of his other missions. Or maybe it's Jiraiya-sama. At that, Uncle winks. The pervert in her house? Never. I hope not, she said. Anyway, you're not the only one moping. You know Hinata, said Karin. Oh, yeah, what of her? She told me that Neji is in a really bad mood with the instructor that he ended up with. Who did he end up with, Uncle asked. My guy, somewhere in the village. Guy sneezed. As he shouted to the heavens, his youthful students must be talking about him. Well, yeah, he could have ended up better, said Uncle. That guy is gonna drive Neji crazy. Well, for Hinata, a bit of spunk wouldn't harm the girl. She's a Hyuga, you can't give her spunk. I admit, you did her good. Leaps and bounds to get her to start wearing that fishnet shirt. But that's not good. Her father keep on asking me if I knew who's corrupting his daughter. I need you to stop. Well, at least tone it down. I don't want her to start swearing like you. Having her be taught by you to come out of her shell. I had to admit it was a really bad idea, said Karin. I don't swear, Uncle said, because Naruto told you to stop it. And whenever you look at you with those eyes, you always do what he says. Uncle rolled her eyes. What could she do if she couldn't get past his eyes? Whenever he asks her to do something, fine, I won't teach her to swear, but she will learn how to throw kunas at bitchy elders. You know, I really want to see how Yumi would turn out in her teenager years. Her rebellion would be something to look forward to. She's gonna turn out like her father, quiet. A simple girl who can't harm a fly. But when she's in the IT department, she's gonna be a spunky badass interrogator. Yes, all her father, said Karin. But she has my ear, said Uncle. As the small talk went on, until they managed to split up and go into their separate houses. As Uncle went home, she just wished that everything would just stay this way forever. But even she knew that everything doesn't last. Time skip. Akatsuki hideout. Gaara-kun, is everything alright? The voice of a worried woman said. As she looked towards the red head, Ichibai Jinchuriki hold her with kind eyes. Yes, Gaara. Not Gaara alone though. The other tail beasts, they were with the Akatsuki. How things have changed over the past 2 years. But guys, will be end episode right here. If you want some person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as it posted. And also guys, thank you for the result to watch it's coming your way. And I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace.